You're watching Viewpoint meeting the UEFA Challenge. Gibraltar is the newest official member of the European football family, and we're talking about the challenges that UEFA status represents. Before we hear from our panel once again, Gibraltar will play Estonia in March, but who will represent the Rock? A subject that we've already discussed briefly with Alan. Will we have an influx of players?
Really exciting to have an international match where Gibraltar is going to be represented as Gibraltar in football against Estonia.
I feel that the actual rules right now are quite draconian because you need to be, if you look out throughout any member state in Europe and in the world, they have players who, via ancestry up to the level of grandfather, that they can play for the national side. So, I mean, we cannot pick and choose what we like about UEFA or not. This comes with UEFA, so if we have a player who is Spanish national or Portuguese or whatever, and he's got Gibraltarian blood, then he can play for the national side, and if it improves the team, so be it.
Yes. Look, the rules are there, and if someone qualifies to play for the national side, then that person qualifies to play for the national side. Come on, I don't think we're trying to bypass any rules or anything. So rules and regulations are there for guidance, and keep to them and let's go for them.
Obviously, the level of football that the senior team of GFA will be playing in the qualifiers is a level which none of us have ever experienced. I think Danny obviously will be the closest to experience that level, obviously playing in the Premier League, and he has a vast experience which only will make us all better players.
I saw, for example, a couple of weeks ago, the manager of the GFA making an approach to a player via tweets. I mean, personally, I think it makes us look very unprofessional. If you have a player in mind which you want to select, you do it discreetly, you pick up the phone, and you call him up and see what appetite he has to play for us.
The league is definitely attracting new players and younger players. I mean, the younger players, the most talented players in Gibraltar who have been playing in Spain. For example, Giancarlo, who's now coming back to Gibraltar. I think he's signing for Lincoln, actually. Jamie Rovo signing for Lynx. Jack Sargent signing for Manchester. All probably the most talented players in Gibraltar. But obviously, the reason being that they want to play in the Champions League and the Europa League next season. There's also foreign players who have come over. I think there's a couple of Argentinians that I've heard have signed for Lynx. Again, that's only going to strengthen the league, and obviously we'll all improve.
Whether our squad or our first 11 on the day can handle the professional outfits, we'll wait and see.
Look, I place my whole trust in Alan Buller that he will certainly squeeze the lemon and get out every penny's worth of skill that a player has. But that is the most Alan Bullen can do.
Football matches and sports in general tend to get communities together. And I hope that this first, one of our first internationals, will join together Gibraltar and, fly our flag and our colours.
Good stuff. I suppose we should pass this on to you, Alan, to allow you to respond to what Kenneth said there about approaching Danny Higginbottom. He says by Twitter. I honestly didn't see the exchange. I saw the news, but would you like to pick up on that?
Well, I think obviously there's been more better, things said on there. So, but yeah, the Twitter thing. Nowadays, everyone uses the social media, and if people want to know, is my nephew? Yes, he is my nephew. Have I lost contact with my sister? Yes, I have lost contact with my sister. And that was the only way I could get through to Danny. Did like he says, I'm professional. I'm sorry about that, being unprofessional. I'm not sorry about contacting my nephew because he's decided he wants to play for Gibraltar.
He's got Gibraltar blood. Is he confirmed he will be playing for Gibraltar then?
Well, as we still have to, like the other part that Mr. Asker said, what do you say, draconian?
There are some draconian rules.
Obviously, I've requested the GFA to introduce the UEFA FIFA ruling, and obviously it's up to the GFA now to look into that.
Do you want to pick up on that, Dennis?
Yeah, sure. I agree with Kenneth and with Alan's point on the rules as they stand being draconian. The rules as they stand at the moment.
These are rules that you inherited, obviously.
These are rules that have stood there for a number of years now. The rules as they stand stipulate that you have to be a registered Gibraltarian to play for a Gibraltar national team, which has served a purpose up to this point. Pre-UEFA, it served a purpose absolutely wonderfully. But I think that, as Kenneth has pointed out, that is not, in fact, common practice within the UEFA and FIFA fraternities. Our rules are actually stricter than they necessarily have to be. So I would certainly encourage the Council, and I know that the Council have been thinking about this already, to sit down, look at that, and do no more than what UEFA are requiring us to do.
Well, I mean, if you look at the German national squad, if you look at the Spanish national squad, they're trying to sign this player now, aren't they?
That's right. I mean,
well, sign, you know, nationalise.
The Brazilian, and obviously is a striker. They've got a very good striker.
His name
Diego Costa. They've got a very, very good striker playing in England at the moment, pure Spanish, scoring goals, and they're going to get him before that striker. So, but I'd just like to clarify, if you let me, Jonathan, one thing that Mr. Asker said, and obviously he had a lot of good points, but one of them, obviously, for the viewers, no, I cannot bring a Spanish national, or a Turkish national, or a Brazilian national. You have to have the nationality of the country.
So the parent,
so
the player's parent or a player's grandparent would have to have Gibraltarian blood?
No, the player has to be British citizen and then can qualify through the either born, parent or grandparent. So let's get it clear, because I don't want... Because obviously the people are confused. So it does not mean if a parent is Gibraltarian and this player is a Spanish national, he can play for Gibraltar. No, he cannot. Okay. He has to be a British citizen. Okay. That's the UEFA and FIFA ruling. You must hold the nationality of the country. So
okay.
I just wanted
Thank you for the clarification. 200 79810 is a number you need to call if you want to put across your question or viewpoint. And we have Ronnie Baravich on the line. Good evening, Mr. Baravich. What is your question or viewpoint, please?
Yes, my question is, it has been mentioned that the new stadium will not materialize for a few years. On the other hand, it has been said that we will be participating in UEFA championships as of next year. My question is, where are we going to play?
Okay, I believe the answer is Portugal, but, well, Dennis can answer that better.
Well, thanks for the question, Ronnie. Primarily, the Victoria Stadium is suitable for international friendlies, which means that the friendly against Estonia in March, for instance, that has been mentioned, that will take place at the Victoria Stadium. Champions League and Europa League qualifiers can take place at the Victoria Stadium. We run into difficulties, though, with competitive matches. And by that I mean, for instance, next year, Euro 2016 qualifiers. Those require, under UEFA rulings, to be played in a Category 4 stadium, which means they have to be played in a stadium that has at least a capacity of 8,000, which obviously the Victoria Stadium doesn't have, and unfortunately we cannot increase the capacity at the Victoria Stadium with temporary seating. It's simply not allowed. What we have done is we've reached an agreement with the Portuguese Federation, who we're very close to and who are great friends of ours, for use of a stadium in the Algarve, the Estádio do Algarve, which is a 30,000 capacity facility. It's a top-grade UEFA stadium. It's a Category 4. It's been used for European matches regularly. Portugal and the Netherlands played a friendly there just this summer. So we're very, very happy about that, because it is a wonderful facility. And we look forward to our competitive home matches being played there. But for everything else, we still have the Victoria Stadium.
Okay, we're seeing some shots here of, Alan, which game is this? This is July, I believe, the last national team game?
Yeah, this is against Charlton, obviously, the championship side.
It's obvious when you see professionals playing against our lads who are extremely professional in their approach, but they have to contend with going to work during the day and all the rest of it. There is a bit of a gap that we need to bridge now, isn't it? Which is why you're thinking of bringing in a few Danny Higginbothams and the likes.
That's right. Obviously, what we're looking there is we're looking at good professionals, championship level. We're not looking at professionals that are playing in the Euro 2016.
Okay.
So my players have still got to come up, like I said before, the best in the world, you know, which are full professionals, treated as professionals, my lads have to play. And people have got to realise that next September, which is round the corner, we'll have the qualifiers. Now, if you look at the pots, that's going to be the draw, and we're in pot 6, and you look at the rest of the pots, you can see straight away what we're going to come up against. And it's going to be Tuesday, Germany. And I'm not talking about Germany pub. I'm talking about the full German national team, with the likes of Khedira, Özil,
some of the best players in the world.
Best players in the world, which in fact played just the last World Cup. 11 of the Germany players weren't actually born in...
Yeah, but they had Turkish origins,
that's right.
or Polish.
Yeah. Now, 4 days later, and if we go to the first match against Germany, my players might play in a stadium, 40,000 fans, let's say. I don't want to say 70 or 80,000, 40,000. They're going to have hundreds of thousands watching them on TV. They're going to have their country, and then they're going to have our next door neighbours just waiting for that mistake to happen so they can pounce on. So physically and mentally, it's going to be tremendous for them.
A question from Salvador on that very subject. Is an era of semi-professional football in Gibraltar on the horizon, do you think?
I think it will happen, and it's looking towards that, and I hope it does, because, we keep on saying about the youth, and yes, the youth is the future of Gibraltar, and they will reap the rewards. And trust me, the quality we have over here, and especially now, the youth for the past few years, the way they're going, develop, it's great. We're going to have a good a very, very good national team at the top, plus the bottom ones. If it can become semi-professional, everything helps. Because if we go back to Özil, he goes into Arsenal now, professional, then he goes to Germany, he does football. I'll probably have, let's say, Daniel Duarte, he goes to work.
The Gibraltar Sports and Leisure Authority.
That's it. He goes to work. He's got his family. He's got to work for his family. He's got all these things, and then probably Daniel Duarte will be the player marking Özil. So that's the difference.
The gap you have to bridge.
As long as we can evolve and become semi-professional, and some of the players become professional, it's just going to help tremendously.
I suppose it'll be a slow process, won't it, of evolution. I'd like to ask Leslie a question, not strictly about grassroots, but you're a passionate Gibraltarian, because I know you. How do you feel about Gibraltar's first competitive internationals having to be played in Portugal?
Well, in the 9th of October, the under-19 selection is going to Bulgaria to play a friendly match, and then they go to Czech Republic. They're playing teams like Croatia, Cyprus. So, like Alan said, these under-19s are the future players. And even saying this, we've got the under-17 also going to Armenia. And the first game is going to be against Republic of Ireland. And then the second game is going to be England.
Wow.
So,
it's going to be a tall
just
order.
imagine, Gibraltar is going to play England in a qualifier of
the under-17s. So, and those tournaments happen all in one place? No, it's not like a home and away leg?
No, it's the preliminary rounds. It's youth level. They play on a host country.
Well, how do the under-17s and the under-19s feel about playing the likes of Croatia and England?
It's the other thing. They've